what inspired you to write this book?
So the book is birthed out of, I wrote those letters, and at my wedding, I gave those letters to my husband. And I really had no idea the impact that it would have on our guests. I mean, people were clapping and really rooting for us, and it really paused my wedding for a little bit. And afterwards, like, the kids were like, my little surrogate nieces and nephews were like, Auntie, what made you think about that? They were excited about it. And I have a couple of guy friends who are like these big bodybuilders, and they were like, okay, so, one of them was asking his wife, one of my dearest friends, so what happened to my letters? Like, why did you wear my letters and stuff? And they were like, man, what were you thinking when you wrote those? And not, my girlfriends were really surprised by it. Like, it was really very well received and a very sweet moment. And afterwards, people who weren't even at my wedding would come and ask me about it, and it just seems like it captured the imaginations of people who just wouldn't think to do anything like that. And so the short story of it, I started writing those letters, and it was 11 years before I met him, and 13 years before we got married, and I gave them to him at our wedding. I think that sounds probably really sweet, and, to anyone, but there's 11 years between the time I started writing those letters and when I met my husband, and it was a very ugly abstinence at times. And there's a story to those 11 years that I think is significant, that I hope to, really convey in a way that people can look at and add to their conversations or their thoughts about what they think about themselves and what they think about sex in the context of hopefully being married someday, and what that looked like for me. And hopefully it's relatable in that way, and maybe just gives them something else to think about and encourages them to really consider what's going on with them, before they have sex, or maybe before the next time they have sex, just to really kind of get a clearer idea of what they want, and hopefully encourage them to pursue that.
Mm-hmm.